Hi. Do you know that all mammals share the same 5 defensive survival states? Just like we do. This is part of our nature. This is exactly what's helped us survive and live to these times. Some of these states you're familiar with. You probably have heard of fight, flight, or freeze. But I don't know if you've heard about submit. But here's my friend, submit. It's a little hard to see his posture, but he's a little bent over. Says submit on the back. He's got sad eyes. He's crying. You can think about Eeyore. Thanks for noticing. Submit has the energy of, I'll just go along with anything that happens. Submit is a state that is designed to not bring on someone else's rage. So if you're in a situation where the other person has a tremendous amount of fight energy, if you start confronting them or saying no or disagreeing with them or getting rageful back at them, it's only going to escalate the situation, which will endanger your safety. Submit, on the other hand, gets us to be in the position of, okay, all right, if that's what you want, okay, you know best. It's this giving in, it's this submitting. Again, it's brilliant as a survival strategy because it's a state that doesn't make waves for anyone else. But inside, the person who's in the state of submit feels horrible. They feel depressed, frustrated, powerless, worthless. They feel like a second-class citizen. And they treat themselves like that when they're in that state. Again, there's a tremendous amount of wisdom in submit. But if it's a state we go to on a regular basis, especially as adults, it's going to create more suffering for us. Instead of saying what we want, asking for what we need, or being proactive, if we're in a submit state, it shuts all that down. And the only thing that submit state is interested in is not making waves, not making more danger. So if I'm in submit, right, I'm not going to be thinking about what makes me happy or what gives me pleasure or what I long for. When I'm in submit, I just want to not be hurt anymore. So it's a state, a very contracted state, if you will, to live in. One in which our expectations for ourselves and our own life are very diminished. One in which our own voice is silenced. And one in which often we pull away from awareness of our own needs. Because the less I'm aware of what I need and want, the more easily I can submit to what you need and want. As you can see, this is not the greatest dynamic for healthy adult relationships. If you've had trauma, and especially if the trauma was interpersonal violence with a very fight energy oriented other, then you may be very familiar with submit. And you may find times now where you submit not when it's a life or death threat, going along with what the boss says, or your significant other says, or what a neighbor says, going along with other people because you don't want to isolate yourself more or create more danger. So submit is a state of survival, but not of living fully. One of the things that we've learned over these past 15 years in our treatment of trauma-based disorders and with what we're learning about the brain and the nervous system is that one of the largest contributors of suffering after trauma is that people get caught, stuck in one of these 5 defensive states, that they spend a lot of their life frequently moving in and out of these states. And in so doing, your whole life energy is going towards protecting you, and hardly any of it is being able to be devoted towards fun, pleasure, growth, life, because your nervous system is going to be more concerned about survival over fun, survival over pleasure. That when in any of the survival states, those things go out of your mind, and instead it's just about the state and what it's telling you. For trauma survivors, coming out of a submit state starts with learning to notice when you're in this state. You may be surprised that it comes up more often. Matter of fact, even people who don't have trauma may find that they automatically have a tendency, maybe because they were raised to be good girls and good boys, they don't want to make waves, they go along with things even if they're not happy about it. But there is a way to identify the state you're in and learn how to shift out of it. You don't have to have a life that's driven by these defensive survival states. You can have a life that's driven by your heart and your mind and your choice. And that's not just pie in the sky hopes. We know that you can have a different relationship with your nervous system. And if you would like to do so, please check out our upcoming program, where you will learn how to truly self-regulate your nervous system, how to embody safety, and how to be a healing presence for others. I hope to see you there.